The Golden State Warriors are standing at a crossroads, and the clock is ticking louder than ever. Jonathan Kuminga, one of the most electrifying young players to wear the blue and gold in years, has just about a week left to make a decision that could change not only his own career, but the entire future of the Warriors franchise. October 1st is the deadline for him to accept a qualifying offer, and if he does, or if he doesn't, the ripple effects will be felt across the NBA. So before we break this all down, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates on the Warriors' roller coaster of an offseason. This story is only just beginning, and you'll want to be here when the final chapter is written. Now, let's face it, the Warriors' roster looks more incomplete right now than it has in years. With 6 open roster spots, the front office is essentially waiting on Kuminga before locking in the rest of the squad. Every decision hinges on him. It's like the entire team-building process has been frozen, waiting for one young man to choose between accepting the present and gambling on the future. And make no mistake, the Warriors can't afford to get this wrong. The dynasty years have already transitioned into a new era, with Stephen Curry still leading the way, Draymond Green still barking orders on defense, and Jimmy Butler now bringing his own fire to the mix. But without Kuminga's buy-in, the balance between veterans and youth could collapse. This tension only grows sharper when you consider the mood around the team. Warriors veterans had planned a players-only minicamp before official training camp kicks off on September 30th. But there's a cloud hanging over everything now. News of Fred VanVleet's ACL injury has sent shockwaves through the league, reminding everyone how fragile the game really is. There's talk that Golden State might even scale back its own prep work just to avoid any unnecessary risk before camp officially begins. It's the kind of nervous energy that only adds more pressure to Kuminga's situation, because his decision determines how quickly the Warriors can stabilize their lineup. Meanwhile, NBA insider Mark Stein has dropped some heavy news about what's next. Golden State is expected to add a mix of familiar faces and new names once the Kuminga situation clears up. Imagine this. Al Horford at age 39, still with the IQ and shooting touch to anchor the front court. DeAnthony Melton returning after a short but impressive stint last year, ready to lock in as a two-way spark plug if his health holds up. Gary Payton II, the defensive specialist whose energy and instincts are unmatched, even if the team sometimes asks him to do more on offense than he should. Rookie Will Richard coming in to prove he belongs at the NBA level. And then, in what feels like a dream come true for fans, Seth Curry, yes, Steph's brother, finally suiting up for the Warriors. The Seth Curry reunion is more than just a family story. It's about adding one of the league's most respected shooters to a system built on spacing and ball movement. No, Seth isn't going to be a defensive stopper, but his shooting gravity alone can unlock the floor in ways his team desperately needs. Pairing him with his brother at Chase Center is not just sentimental, it's strategic. And then there's Al Horford. Signing a 2-year deal with a taxpayer mid-level exception, Horford is expected to be the starting center. At 39, he's not the physical force he once was, but his ability to stretch the floor, pass out a high post, and bring leadership to the locker room gives Golden State something it hasn't consistently had since the peak days of Andrew Bogut and David West, a reliable veteran presence anchoring the middle. Melton, on the other hand, is a gamble but one worth taking. If he can stay healthy, his mix of perimeter defense, ball handling, and timely shooting could be exactly what this team needs alongside Curry and Butler. And Payton too. Well, we know exactly who he is. He's not going to carry the offense, but his defensive energy changes games, and Golden State simply looks more dangerous whenever he's flying around the court. The plan is clear. Build a supporting cast that complements the stars. But none of this matters until Kuminga's situation is settled. Here's where things get complicated. Kuminga has already rejected multiple offers from the Warriors, and that alone tells you how tense these negotiations have become. First came a 2-year, $45 million offer with a team option, then a 3-year, $54 million fully guaranteed deal. Both were turned down. The latest proposal on the table is a 3-year, $75.2 million contract with a team option in the 3rd year. That's a massive payday, especially for a player still proving himself. But Kuminga's camp, led by agent Aaron Turner, isn't satisfied. The sticking point is trade protection, or rather, the lack of it. They don't want to see him locked into a deal only to be shipped out if the Warriors decide he doesn't fit their plans down the line. This is where the tension really spikes. Turner doesn't want his client forced into qualifying offer either, because that would limit Kuminga's long-term security. But at the same time, he doesn't want Kuminga traded too early, when his value could skyrocket in the right role. It's a chess match with no easy answer. The Warriors want flexibility. Kuminga wants commitment. And somewhere in the middle, the clock keeps ticking toward October 1st. Most insiders, including Mark Stein, believe that at the end of the day, Kuminga will sign the 3-year, $75 million deal. The money is too good to pass up, and the market for restricted free agents isn't exactly overflowing with opportunities. But the real question is not whether he takes the deal. It's whether he fully embraces what it means. Can Jonathan Kuminga accept being a complementary piece alongside Curry, Draymond, and now Jimmy Butler? Can he bring his explosiveness to the table without needing the offense built around him? These are the doubts that linger, and they're not small ones. Because the truth is, Kuminga has shown flashes of stardom. His athleticism is off the charts. His ability to slash, finish in transition, and guard multiple positions gives the Warriors a dimension they desperately need in a league dominated by size and speed on the wings. But flashes aren't enough. The Warriors are chasing another championship window, and they don't have time for a player still figuring out if he's a star or a role player. They need him to choose and to buy into that choice completely. So here we are, 6 roster spots waiting to be filled, a roster half-finished, suspended in uncertainty, veterans ready to grind, rookies waiting to prove themselves, a coaching staff preparing schemes, and fans everywhere holding their breath. Jonathan Kuminga's decision will ripple through all of it. Will he take the money and stay the course, carving out a place on a roster that blends veterans like Horford and sharpshooters like Seth Curry with the fiery competitiveness of Jimmy and the timeless brilliance of Steph? Or will this saga drag the Warriors into deeper waters, forcing them to consider trading away a player they once viewed as the future? Only one thing is certain. The Warriors' next chapter hinges on the next 7 days. And for Kuminga, this is the moment that will define him, not just as a player, but as a professional ready to choose between chasing his individual destiny or committing to the grind of a team built on sacrifice. If you're a Warriors fan, buckle up. This week could be the one that shapes the entire season. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe Kuminga should accept the deal, or is it time for the Warriors to move on? We'll be following this story every step of the way. Stay tuned, because the deadline is coming fast, and history may be made in Golden State. And here's the key takeaway from the channel. Delve into financial education to enhance your quality of life. Within the financial market, explore bonds and shares, particularly focusing on real estate investment trusts, which offer potential for passive income. Engage with this responsibly and consider reputable investment brokerages worldwide.